Hey, Facebook, sorry, we're back live now. I don't know what happened. I had technical issues with the app, and I had the app. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. I'm trying to get it working. Let me know, Facebook, if I'm back on live. I had like a little issue with the app that I'm using. I'm using a third-party app to stream onto Facebook instead of streaming directly onto Facebook because I'm streaming on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube simultaneously. So kind of one of those things, you know. Yeah, Netanyahu and Putin are playing Trump like a fiddle, and he's oblivious. Yeah, because Netanyahu and Putin are intelligent, extremely intelligent. They're evil, but they're super smart, right? Like Trump is not smart. We know that. We know that Trump is not smart. Oh, here we can show the comments on stream. Great. Oh, look at that. New comments will be displayed here. I don't even know if I'm live. I literally have no idea if it's live, if it's going at all. We'll find out. Okay, there we go. We're up on the live. And now you guys can see the chats on all the different things and we can get started. Okay, perfect. Thank you over on TikTok for all of the follows. Thank you guys for being here. If there's anything in particular that you want to talk about, go ahead and pop it into the chat. If you're a MAGA sad boy, I will not bring you up on live unless you pay me. If you paid me like $50, I'd be like, yeah, do it. My Venmo and Cash App is Chelsea Gods MAGA, by the way. I did get a message from a MAGA today where the guy's like, I don't agree with you politically, but I watch you because you're pretty. Hey, Nico, thank you for following me over on Instagram. Obviously, I post most of my content on Instagram. I have a ton of songs. I just wrote one for Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller has a micro penis. That's why he looks like a... I can't say the word because I'm over here on TikTok and we have to watch what we say. Evelyn, I'm trying. Oh, my mom's calling. I can't talk right now. Sorry, TikTok, it's going to bleep out. My mom is calling and I forgot to put it on do not disturb. Let's go do not disturb because I'm on live. Don't you know I'm working, Mom? I'm live. Perfect. I am back. Yeah, the app had a little bit of a glitch, but we made it back. Keep fighting the good fight. You literally can't even stop me. Make sure you guys are following me on all of my social media channels. I'm over on YouTube. I'm over on Facebook. I'm over on Instagram. And why is my live getting restricted? I didn't even say anything. No, I want you to leave your MAGA boyfriend. Leave your MAGA boyfriend. Leave your MAGA boyfriend, ladies. But cheat on him first. Leave your MAGA husband, but cheat on him first. Cheat with his brother or his best friend, whichever is worse. He doesn't deserve your kitty meow meow. It's time for you to hit the road, but leave a lasting impression before you go. And leave your MAGA husband. Yeah. Leave your MAGA husband. Absolutely. I think everyone should leave their MAGA husbands. I don't know why any woman is dating a man or with a man who is part of a political party who thinks that women shouldn't have the right to vote. I think you must hate yourself. Like you must hate yourself as a woman to be a Republican. Like that's how you must be. You know, thank you for saying you love the vibes. Only good vibes here. Don't even let him be a cuck, says Evelyn. That's hilarious. I agree. Don't let him do it. Don't let him do it. What if your boyfriend is MAGA, but he's super hot? Disgusting, disgusting, disgusting. Like, do you have no self-worth or self-value for yourself? Do you have no sense of self-esteem? Do you not value who you are as a human being that you would be dating somebody who doesn't see you as a human being? Gross. Why would you want to date a man who voted for a rapist? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Why would you do that? Not even at all. I will give you guys advice. You want dating advice? There's no such thing as a super hot MAGA. Exactly. Like, this is my faith. They lose all physical attraction when their brains are mush. Prove that he's a rapist? I don't even have to. It was already proved in court. A preponderance of evidence in the trial of him with E. Jean Carroll proved that he is. And then there was an appeal and he lost the appeal because it proved that he was. And then the Supreme Court also denied seeing the case because he is in fact a rapist. He is, in fact, a rapist. Yeah. So I don't know how much more evidence you need, but 10 jurors unanimously said that a preponderance of evidence showed that Donald Trump had, in fact, assaulted E. Jean Carroll. He was required to pay her a settlement of $5.3 million. He has paid her the settlement of $5.3 million. It's beyond... It's beyond. And by the way, before anyone says, well, it was civil. Well, again, civil requires a preponderance of evidence. And you can't just be a little bit of a rapist. It's just like you either are or you aren't. And the jury said, yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. And then the Supreme Court said, yeah, he is. He did it. So yeah. Oh, look, I have somebody over on Twitch. Look at the only person on Twitch. I don't usually go on Twitch. This is me being new. How can anyone not know that he's a scumbag? Because they're in a cult. FYI, you guys, I was raised in a cult growing up. How fun is that? That's right. I was raised in the Mormon cult as a child, and that exact cult was also founded by a perv. In fact, that's the thing about most cults, is that they're always founded by pervs. In fact, that's one of the things I think is a really important tenet of being a leader of a cult, is that you have to do something that's absolutely atrocious, and it has to be so atrocious that your followers don't believe it, and then they won't believe anything bad that you do. Like, that's the thing. It's like, no matter what disgusting thing Donald Trump does, these people are like, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. They'll defend it with their life because they've already made the decision that they will support a man who they know is gross. I will show them a video of him talking inappropriately about his own 1-year-old daughter, Tiffany. And I mean, talking inappropriately about his own 1-year-old daughter, Tiffany. And they'll be like, that's not what it means. It is exactly what it means. It's exactly what you think it is. And he's a perv, and he's always been a perv, and you shouldn't be surprised. By the way, 50-year-old men dating 18-year-old girls are pervs. They're all pervs. They're all pervs. Donald Trump is one of them too. He's a perv, and he's always been that way. Yes, the Mormon cult was in fact started by a perv. Absolutely started by a perv. And thank you for caring about immigrants. I do care about immigrants. I don't just care about immigrants. I care about human rights in general, right? I care about everybody's human rights, because it'd be absolutely crazy to not care about people's human rights. Someone has to be out there on the side of other regular human beings instead of being stupid enough to be on the side of billionaires who don't fucking care about any of us. Someone has to be smart enough to do that. Johnny, thank you so much for sending a gift. That's so super nice of you. Lena, girl Scorpio, thank you for giving me a follow over on TikTok. Christian, I have a sneaking suspicion that you didn't go to college. Why don't you tell me what university you went to? How many steroids did you do this week, though? How many steroids did you do this week? I always love people who are actually dumb trying to compete with me intellectually as if they have anything to say or add to the conversation. None of them have gone to college. I had a guy come into my DMs the other day because a lot of these men are very lonely. You should know they could be lonelier. They could be lonelier. And they're really just looking for a woman to talk to, and they've ran out of money to give to their favorite OnlyFans girl, right? No. TechCast, no. We're not going to be blaming women. No, we won't blame young women for being victims of predators. No, we won't be doing that. We won't be doing that. Gross. Kristen Holm is a bird-legged hoe. I said, Kristen Holm is a bird-legged hoe. Kristen Holm is a bird-legged hoe. That hoe has got to go. That's hilarious, Skinny Brando. Yeah, Kristen Holm, exactly. I need to write more music. I wrote Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller is a micro weenus. We'll see. Gloria, thank you for the follow. Cody, always. I'm passionate about human rights because someone's got to be. By the way, being passionate about human rights is not a way to make good money, but being passionate about destroying the planet is. And that's what you need to know about this world. Donald Trump is going to give away more of your public lands to his friends to destroy the planet. Polluting the planet, destroying our water, and making the entire country uninhabitable through climate change is bad for everyone. The reason why billionaires don't care about it is because they can buy their way out of it. They can go live anywhere on the planet that they need to, but you cannot. You cannot. It's important that we're stewards of our civilization, our planet, and otherwise. Would I ever consider debating Caitlin Bennett? I've talked to Caitlin Bennett before, and I dunked on her. In fact, I dunked on her so bad she didn't even know I was dunking on her. Caitlin Bennett is insane. Having met her in real life, I will let you guys know that she is crazy. If you ever met her and you saw her, you'd be like, oh, this woman is psychotic, and she is. You can see it in her demeanor. You can see it in the way she dresses. You can see it. You can tell when someone's a little off, and that's her. That's her. But yeah. So Caitlin Bennett, she came up. She's like, what do you believe in? And I said, I believe in myself. And she's like, oh, exactly like the left. And I was like, wait, you don't believe in yourself? And she's like, no, I only believe in myself because of Jesus. And then I said, oh yeah, of course. I only believe in myself because my God, Rumpelstiltskin told me so. And when I die, Rumpelstiltskin is going to teach me how to spin straw into gold, but I won't find out about it until I'm actually dead. So I just live by the tenets of Rumpelstiltskinism until then. And she didn't even get it. She didn't get any of it. She didn't get any of it at all because she's so dumb. Because she's so dumb. She didn't get any of it, not even at all. Not even at all. It was so funny. And the left is for data centers. Kate, like sometimes you have to like listen to the MAGA and just go, what are you talking about? What, like, who are the data centers owned by? Who are they owned by? Are they owned by Jeff Bezos, who is friends with Donald Trump? Yes. Are they owned by Mark Zuckerberg, who's friends with Donald Trump? Yes. Like, what are they owned by Elon Musk, who's friends with Donald Trump? Yes. Like, what planet are we living on here? I literally, it's so exhausting, right? Like, the level of disconnect between their brain is exhausting. It's like their left side of their brain can't talk to the right side of their brain. And it's crazy. Thank you for saying you love my hat, sissy. Thank you so much. Jacob is crashing out. Hilarious, Jacob. I love you crashing out on Facebook. Maybe if you weren't such a hateful loser, you could get a girlfriend. Just kidding. No, you won't. You'll never have one. I enjoy you being single. Also, enjoy being blocked. You guys may not know this, but I love blocking people without letting them know I'm going to block them. I block them because I just don't care. They want to talk to me, not the other way around. Do you see what I'm saying? It says reload the page. Why is it making me reload? All right. Your cousin screamed at you today. If I'd only watched Fox News, you'd know the truth. Hey, so if Fox News is the only place you can get the truth, then that seems like a cult, doesn't it? I'm not on any SSRIs. I actually don't suffer from any mental health conditions, not even at all. But I do want you guys to know that I find it completely funny that the very same people who, the minute that there's a mass shooting in the United States of America, instead of blaming the actual systemic problems and the causes of mass shooting and the overuse of weapons in American society, will in fact blame mental health instead. And then that day, they will pretend that they are a great advocate for mental health. But they're not. They don't actually care about mental health. What they will do is villainize people who do seek out therapy and mental health treatment. But then the minute that there is a tragedy that happens because of our lax gun laws in this country, and it is because of the guns, then they will blame. Then they'll blame mental health, and they'll suddenly really care about mental health. Men's mental health matters. That's what I'll hear from you guys. Mental health for men matters. You guys don't care about mental health. You're the first people to try and villainize it and weaponize it. You know, still waiting on those Doge checks. Anyone here get their Doge checks? Anyone got that Doge check? What about your tariff check? How did those tariffs go? We spent more money than ever last month. In the United States history. We spent more money than ever last month in United States history. How's that going? How's that going? How's that Doge going? Why would I want to go and kill Tony? No one cares about him. No one cares about him except for men who are sad and lonely. If I wanted to tell jokes to sad and lonely men, I'd do it here, just like I'm doing right now. There's my audience, sad, lonely men. First off, I'm hilarious. I'm not even a failed comedian. I'm a great comedian. In fact, I'm such a great comedian that I currently have 270,000 followers on Facebook. That's right. Did you find me last year when I had 5,000 followers on Facebook? That's right. In less than a year, I gained almost 300,000 followers on Facebook. Do you know how many people in the comedy circuit would enjoy having 300,000? My kids are with me. I have my children. Thank you. Yeah. Isn't that so funny? Let me talk about the lies that people will make up about you as a woman online. They'll say things like, you don't have your kids. Yeah, I do. Of course I do. Who else is going to save my children from a MAGA? No one. Me. That's why it's really important that when I tell you guys to leave your MAGA boyfriend, leave your MAGA husband, that I'm coming from a place of experience. My ex-husband went from being a Bernie Sanders supporter to being a QAnon MAGA freakazoid between the years 2015 to 2017. And about 2 years into it, I realized that I needed to cut my losses and just leave. And that's why I'm encouraging women and men to leave your MAGA partners. It's really important that you understand that mental health condition that they're suffering is never going to change. They're actually that stupid, and it's irreversible. It's an irreversible level of stupid. And you just need to get out of it. You deserve more. Your children deserve more. Life that's free of stupidity and the insanity that comes being in a relationship with a member of a cult. Like, you deserve so much more. My husband was lucky. My ex-husband, he still stalks me. So make sure to tell him, like, hey, move on with your life. Just move on. I mean, I would like him to move on. That's actually true. We're like 6 years later and still obsessed with me. I mean, I get it. Have you guys seen what I look like? Exactly. The Bernie to MAGA pipeline is so weird. You know what, though? It was really ushered on through Twitter. And it was like a concerted brainwash campaign by the Russians. And I know people want to say Israel, 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 but you guys have to remember that Russia is still at play here too, and they still had a huge desire to destabilize the United States, and they did so. They absolutely so. So the Bernie Sanders to alt-right pipeline usually happens myself. I was a member of this subreddit called QAnon Casualties, and people would be talking about their moms, their brothers, their sisters, their wives, their husbands, and all the people in their lives who started like becoming a member of the dumbest cult ever. And so many of the people talked about how social media had been the pathway to that insanity, and Twitter was like the number one offender. You guys need to know that social media knows that it's addictive. Social media knows that it's addictive. And they're doing this like by creating these kind of panic responses in people where they constantly have to be looking on their phones and being involved with it at all times. And that's how they did it. Like it was a campaign to do so, and they were successful in doing so. And Vladimir Putin and Benjamin Netanyahu currently run Trump, so it was very successful. It was very successful. You know, is no one stalking me? No, I literally had to get restraining orders and stuff. But thanks for telling me about my life, you little weirdo. You little weirdo. Why can't Fox News be sued for putting out misinformation? Fox News themselves, as a defense in court, called themselves an entertainment company. Fox News does not consider themselves to be a news company. They do consider themselves to be an entertainment company. And just remember that right now, the courts are not going to be on your side. The courts are packed for the billionaires. You live in an oligarchy. That is exactly what kind of government you're living in right now. It's run by the billionaires. It's for the billionaires. And those corporations are controlling everything. So that's where we're at. You know, MAGA saved my children from abortion. Sir, do you think that every pro-choice woman always gets an abortion? Do you think every woman who's pro-choice always gets an abortion, like every time? She's like, I got 7 today just to prevent it. I'm pro-choice and I chose to have children. But if I didn't want to have children, I would have made the other choice. Like I'm the reason. Like, what do you mean MAGA or why my children didn't get aborted? I'm the reason they didn't get aborted because I chose them, because I wanted them. By the way, there are no good outcomes from forcing pregnancies on anybody. There's absolutely no good outcomes from forcing pregnancies on people. Having unwanted children is not a positive in society. We need to consider quality of life, not quantity of life, and quality of life matters more than anything else. Yes, exactly, Star Commander, exactly. Yeah, Brandon went from TikTok over to here. All the right wingers are on Facebook. That's where your grandpa is yelling at the TV screen, is over on Facebook. So if you want to see the MAGA, if you want to like get involved in the MAGA comments, then you can watch this live over on Facebook, because that's exactly what they're doing. Miss Emily, thank you for saying that I'm your favorite. Thank you guys so much. It's so cool to find people who say they love watching my content. Make sure you guys are following me on all of my social media channels. If you love getting in fights with MAGA, then Facebook is the social media channel for you. If you don't want to get in fights with MAGA, then head on over to Instagram. One of those things. So every platform is different. Look at Fox News's ratings. Yeah, because you guys are in a cult and you only watch one thing. Like, what do you want me to tell you? Look at their ratings. Yeah, because old people yell at the TV and watch Fox News. Now make somebody under the age of 40 say they watch Fox News. They don't. They don't, because they don't watch TV. Okay? Like, there you go. What did you need to know? Yeah, they don't care. Like, I will believe that somebody's pro-life when a pro-lifer tells me that they're anti-war. William, are you anti-war? William is in here all worried about fetuses, but he doesn't seem to care about schoolgirls or actual human beings. William, how do you feel about people being starved in concentration camps all across the United States? You're really pro-life, right? So you're going to really care about their lives, right? What about those children who are getting impregnated in concentration camps in Texas? Do you care about them? Do you care about them? Oh, you don't. Yeah, they're not really pro-life, you guys. They don't actually care about other human beings. You want to invite me to an event? Send me the link. Send me a DM. If you have an event or something you want me to go to, then you just need to send me a DM. You know? William does have a tiny, just tiny, micro ween A little microween. Ignorance won't save you. Thank you for giving me a follow. There are no concentration camps in the United States. So actually, by the definition of concentration camps, there are there are hundreds of concentration camps all across the United States of America. What differs between a prison and a concentration camp is the people in a concentration camp have been put there without any due process and without any legal trials at all. And you would find that that absolutely meets the definition of concentration camp. Do yourself a favor, learn how to use Google. It's 2026. Google's been around for a long time. Okay. So you can Google what is the definition of a concentration camp. And then you can see that we do, in fact, have a network of concentration camps that have been expanded rapidly across the entire United States of America that are run by the two largest for profit prison companies in the entire country. And Donald Trump has made money off of those prison companies personally by trading their stocks. That's right. Donald Trump last year traded stocks of Geo Group and Core Civic 37 times, all while making money off of your taxes. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy to imagine a president of the United States manipulating markets and actually using his position as president to trade stocks and make money based on his political decisions? It's actually the first time it's ever happened in United States history. Donald Trump is the only president to actively trade stocks while he's president of the United States. You could try and prove me wrong. You couldn't, because this is real. Donald Trump is manipulating markets and doing so through US government policy to enrich himself and his family exclusively, all while stealing your taxes. Why do I tell you that Donald Trump is stealing your taxes? Because last month, the United States of America spent the most amount of money it's ever spent in United States history in a single month. Period. 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 What is a woman? I'm sorry. What does someone's genitalia have to do with this conversation? That's like the only thing they have is they're like, hey, can we talk about people's genitals? I wanna talk about genitalia. I know that we're talking about real economic concerns and our taxes being stolen and markets being manipulated by a crazy dictator, but I want to talk about genitalia. What is a human? Would you have to know what's between someone's legs before you treat them like a human being? What's up with your guys' obsession with trans people? Other than I know it's what you like to tug it off to. Like, I get it. You pull out your disco stick every day and then you type in trans people into Cornhub and then you want to talk about it in an open public forum. But I don't want to talk about it. I don't care about your freaky kinks. It literally doesn't make a difference at all. Are your groceries more expensive because you're so worried about people's genitalia and children's sports trophies? Is that why your groceries are so much more? Or your housing unaffordable, or why there's no jobs? Like, can we talk about the things that are actually making a difference in everybody's life instead of the things that you guys are just absolutely obsessed with? It's insane. I'm so over it. Evelyn says they all look at trans corn. Yes, they do. They're obsessed with them. Like, there's a reason why that's the number one search in places like Utah. There's a reason why it's like the number one search in the reddest states. Do I agree with USAID being dismantled? No, absolutely not. USAID was 1% of the United States budget and saved the lives of millions of people all across the planet. And this is going to be the thing I want to tell you. My taxes, I want them to go to keep people alive instead of blowing people up. That's what I want my taxes to go to. I want people to like the United States of America because we are the good guys. I want to impact global economic policy through being the good guy as opposed to being the bad guy stealing other people's natural resources. It's so easy. It's so easy to understand what kind of person I am versus what kind of people you are. By the way, if you kill one person, they'll call you a murderer. If you kill 10 people, they'll call you a serial killer. But if you murder 800,000 people like Elon Musk did when he cut USAID funding, then you guys will just call him a good businessman. Can you imagine how absolutely crazy it is that the richest man in the world decided to kill 800,000 of the poorest people on the planet, all because he pretended it was to save money? And last month we spent more money than ever. It wasn't about saving money. It wasn't about saving money. What is wrong with you guys that you would let such greedy weirdos have such terrible policies that actually harm real human beings, that actually murder real human beings? And by the way, any of you pro-lifers, this is how you know that you're not pro-life. Because I just told you 800,000 people died and you didn't want to save them. You didn't want to save them. You didn't want to save them. Where's your pro-life now? Those two things are not compatible. You're going to sit there and pretend that you care about other human beings. I'm so worried about fetuses. I'm so worried. Okay, well, what about the 800,000 people you killed? Oh, good. It does not connect. It's not two charges if you kill a pregnant woman in every state. So that's not true at all. And also, a woman making a decision inside her own body is significantly different than having their life taken by somebody else, right? Like, no person has to be life support for other human beings. No person has to be life support for other human beings. It is not a requirement that a person has to be life support for another human being. It's crazy. They do want to indoctrinate. Yes, they do want to indoctrinate people. America and the family, the community first. So America first is a KKK slogan. And I understand that you're coming at that from a white supremacist standpoint. I would like to point out that you're bald. So, I mean, your genes are already genetically inferior. Your genes are already genetically inferior. Teresa, you guys, I do want to point out Teresa Marie before she gets blocked over on TikTok. One of the reasons why I want to point her out is that she said that we're unhinged or whatever she said. What did she say? I don't know. I really didn't care. She actually follows me on Facebook and is obsessed with me and comments in every single one of my comment sections. So if you want to talk about, I read a comment that I think is funny and I'll address it in a minute. So if you want to talk about somebody who's absolutely unhinged, Teresa, that's you, girl. And I know you're going to watch this because you watch everything I do. And even if you didn't see it on Facebook, I know you're going to do it. Hey, Melissa from Ohio, nice to see you. And a person said, go back to reading your script. Just as an FYI, I never do a script. All of this is extemporaneous. All of this is just off of the cuff. I'm just a very good public speaker. I'm an excellent communicator, and I'm smarter than all of the MAGA in the entire country. Literally, you know? I'm curious what my religion is. I'm not religious. I'm an atheist. I stopped believing in fairy tales the minute I got out of my house and went to college. I questioned my faith in God from ages 15 to 18. I didn't see any evidence for a good God in the world because I saw that children got cancer. I saw that people got murdered. I saw that earthquakes happened and people died. I saw the pain, death, and destruction all around me. And I thought to myself, probably a good God wouldn't have done that. Probably if I were a god, I would have been nicer. Probably if I had created a planet full of people, I wouldn't require them to worship me so fervently while leaving them so in the dust, you know? So I just didn't see any evidence for God. I've read the Bible twice, full, cover to cover. I think it's a silly book. In fact, none of the story of the Bible makes any sense to me. I don't understand any of it. What did I study in college? Business marketing. Business marketing. You've been following me for almost 3 years. I'm definitely extemporaneous. Exactly. Real quiet. Exactly. I've always, like, he's one of my real OG followers. And that's how you know all of this is extemporaneous. I just am this good. In fact, that's why people, when I first started kind of getting onto TikTok and stuff, people are like, oh my gosh, you're probably going to be famous. And they were right. They were right. I thought I was going to be famous too. Oh, there it is. Look at Shannon. Oh, there it is. Chelsea knows critical thinking. Oh, there it is. Chelsea thought it through. Yeah. Could God just be a misunderstood being? I mean, no. No facts yet I'm smarter than everyone. Well, it's a fact that nobody can prove God exists. It's a fact that there's no evidence that Jesus Christ was a real historical figure at all. The first time anybody wrote about Jesus was more than 100 years after he supposedly lived. It is a fact that there were multiple figures around the exact same time of Jesus who all went around pretending that they were the son of God. It turns out that was kind of just a thing that was popular at the time. Like, those are all facts. Why did I call someone a bird-legged hoe? I don't have bird legs. Have you seen my luxurious, voluptuous legs? Literally, I have women come up to me in public and talk to me about my legs. Like, exactly. Save me, Jeebus. Please, Jeebus, save me. I need someone to save me. Oh, I have live restriction. Okay, TikTok, I'm going to close off the app and then come right back. So pop back on the live so I don't have a restriction. I love MAGA boys, like, talking about other MAGA guys. Like, I care about them. I don't. I literally don't. And not only that, but there's like a non-zero chance that all those MAGAs will eventually be talking about me. Most of the most famous MAGA people do eventually start talking about me, which is hilarious. The Shroud of Turin is fake. The Shroud of Turin is fake. Can you imagine using the Shroud of Turin as evidence for Jesus, and it's the fakest thing ever, and it's been carbon dated as not being from the time of Jesus at all? See how that worked out for you. I will pray for you. And this is Matthew chapter 6, Shannon, so you can enjoy this. Do not be as the hypocrites who pray loudly in the streets, for they already have their rewards. Instead, pray quietly in your closet. So take your performative prayer and tell Jesus that you're sad. There's not any facts proving me wrong. Everything I've said to you is literally true. There's no evidence for Jesus. It's just a fairy tale. There's just as much evidence for Jesus as there's for my God Rumpelstiltskin. And if you guys can disprove my God Rumpelstiltskin, I would be super interested in that. I can feel him inside me. He's teaching me how to spin straw into gold in my heart right now. All of my rewards are going to come after I'm dead, magically, because Rumpelstiltskin said so, and I believe in him. And just so you know, there are so many stories written about Rumpelstiltskin all over the world, and that's how I know he's real. He has manifested unto my spirit. He has written his name on my heart. Rumpelstiltskin, Rumpelstiltskin, Rumpelstiltskin. Yeah, amen. A woman. A woman. Always nice to see my old friends over here on TikTok. Thank you guys for joining me back on TikTok. I had to close the live, restart. You know how it goes. That's how the game goes over on TikTok. But on Facebook, here we are. We're doing great. We're actually on 30 minutes on my second live, which means I've already been going live for like probably 45 to 50 minutes. Pretty good. Pretty good. We have Wookiee in here. We have Rogue Rapscallion in here, but now it's like crazy. Who these people I've known since before I became popular online, you know. You're still in the voluptuous legs. Hilarious. Chelsea Gods for president. Who's my pick for vice president? Oh my god. Who's my pick for vice president? Harambe is dead, unfortunately. I would take Piano Cat, also dead. So that's a problem. I don't know. I haven't thought about my vice presidential pick yet. I guess we're gonna have to do that in the exploratory committee. By the way, what is my campaign? What is my campaign slogan? One nation under gods. Exactly. One nation under gods. Chelsea Gods for president. That's right. We're gonna pick Robbie Roadsteamer is a great choice. Robbie Roadsteamer is a great choice. Okay, I like that. Robbie Roadsteamer for vice president. I don't know if he'd want to. He's more like a, can I give him a reality show as transportation secretary? Or he wasn't transportation secretary kind of guy. Hilarious. I would like to remind, Jason keeps me like, you're not popular. I would like to remind Jason that I've gained 300,000 followers in a year on Facebook. There are a lot of people who would enjoy that kind of momentum. And as much as you want to try and knock me down a peg, you couldn't even do it if you tried. You couldn't even do it if you tried. I am a 40-year-old woman who looks like this. And life is going pretty okay for me. Personally, my life is great. It's everything else that's bad. The fascism, boo. Authoritarianism, awful. Just so bad. But I'm going to have to think about who my vice presidential pick is. Right now, it's more just like an exploratory committee for the campaign of Chelsea Gods in 2028. Soon I'll have 1 million. I think so. I think I'll get to 1 million followers on Facebook. Absolutely. Certainly within the next year. You know, Robbie makes press secretary. Okay, yes. That's the pick right there. Robbie is press secretary. I love it. He fields all the questions. Absolutely. Yes. See, we're really coming up with something here. We have a real solid plan. It's going to be good. Oh no, you guys. A MAGA white supremacist called me fat. Good. I don't want you tugging your disco stick to me anyway. Did you think I wanted you to? I literally don't. Shannon wants Narco Rubio. You know what, Shannon? I actually feel pretty good about my chances against Narco Rubio if we institute a drug test before you can run for president. I will pass it and he won't. So it'll be great. Pete Hegseth also wants to be president of the United States. He also would fail. The test. So it'd be hilarious. I think you were saying you love my hat, Cat. By the way, can you go ahead, Shannon, and do me a favor? And can you look up who Narco Rubio's brother-in-law is? I think you'll be very interested. In who Narco Rubio's brother-in-law is. And when you find out that Narco Rubio's brother-in-law is in fact a cocaine drug runner who got away with it, and Narco Rubio is involving himself in all the things happening in South America, including Venezuela, then you're going to understand why he's doing what he's doing. In fact, I bet you'll find that very interesting to find out that Marco Rubio comes from a drug-running family. Yeah, that's right. He lived with his drug-running brother-in-law who had a huge operation out of the house that he lived in. Yeah, I know. You probably didn't know any of this because they try and suppress it because guess what? The cartels actually are helping run this presidency too. That's why 17 members of the Sinaloa cartel were allowed into the United States last May. You can go ahead and look it up. It absolutely is true. You know that I'm spot on the money. Am I in San Diego? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. You know? Yes, I am. Thanks, Bill. You appreciate watching what I'm doing. Trying to teach critical thinking, bring information to the masses. And I'm kind of, you guys should know that I'm really good at like noticing the patterns of things. That happens to be my strong suit. That's why I kind of see what's happening before anyone else sees what's happening. By the way, Chelsea was always right. I'm always right. You guys will see it like months later. I'll talk about something and be like, oh, Chelsea was right. Chelsea was right. She called it. And I do. I call it every time. So just want to remind you, I'm trying to like work my system here. Marco Rubio is hilarious because he couldn't even say no to Trump giving him the wrong size shoe. Okay, talk about how bad the Cuba blockade is. Okay, Amanda brings up the Cuba blockade. So the United States right now is trying the entire country of Cuba because they want to control the country of Cuba. Right. The idea is that a few small billionaires in the United States want to have political and social economic control of Cuba, who wants to remain a free and independent nation. The United States should stay out of Cuba, and we should stop trying to steal land for billionaires. It's bad. Colonizing is bad. It's always bad. It was his brother-in-law. That's exactly what I said. That's how you know that your listening comprehension skills are zero. And that's how I know you didn't listen to anything that I said. I already said it was his brother-in-law. And I told you that he's still involved with his brother-in-law. Now, here's the deal. There are people located at the concentration camp just a little bit away from me right now who are being held there for because of criminal offenses that are less than what Marco Rubio's brother-in-law did. So why should Marco Rubio's brother-in-law continue to operate in the United States? Why should he continue to be here, knowing what he did? Any answers? No, of course not. No, of course not. Which billionaires want to do that? I mean, that's such a great question. Obviously, we know people like Lemon. Yeah, his name is Lemon, who was involved in purchasing the debt in Argentina, is one of them. We know that. Why can't I think of the name of the? Okay, so Scott Bessent is the Treasury Secretary, and you should know that a lot of Scott Bessent's friends are the people who are involved in what's happening in South America right now. Scott Bessent is the person who agreed to give Argentina first $20 billion and then $40 billion. By the way, MAGA, why did we give Argentina $40 billion? I'm against billionaires, but I'll use a billionaire's platform to get my point across. Why don't I do some grassroots activism? Because I have to use the monopolies in which I operate in. We currently exist in an oligarchy. Do you know that even if a person wanted to make a startup to compete with Facebook, that they wouldn't be able to compete with Facebook because Facebook has so much money that they would literally just take them out, or they would ask their fellow friends to make it so they couldn't have their data hosted on servers. Like, you need to understand that you exist in an illusion of choice, not because you actually have choice. When you walk down the cereal aisle in the United States of America, you may see row after row after row of boxes, but those boxes are made by like 3 companies. You don't have a choice. Like, why am I operating on a billionaire's platform? Because we exist in an oligarchy. I would like there to be other choices. I would like there to be more options available. Monopolies are bad for consumers. They're bad for competition. They're bad for me and you. Like, yeah, I would like there to be monopoly controls. They exerted monopoly control during the 1990s. They made Bill Gates split up his companies. They made it so the Internet Explorer could no longer be automatically installed on computers because they had a monopoly presence. Like, monopolies are bad for human beings. They're bad for me and you. You know, Trump is attempting to steal Greenland, Andrew. You're absolutely right. Let's talk about Trump stealing Greenland, because I intended to make a video about this, but then my mom was in town last week. So I kind of took like a little bit of a hiatus in making videos. I still made videos, but just not as many as usual. And Trump is trying to steal Greenland, and they're not really talking about it. There are machines from a U.S. oil company over in Greenland right now to attempt to steal Greenland's natural resources. Do you guys understand how absolutely crazy that is? The United States, who pretends that they're free and democratic, which we're not, like we're in a dictatorship. The United States is going in to steal the natural resources of Greenland and try and take over the country by force by doing it that way. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. And I think it's interesting that you brought that up, because you're absolutely right. They didn't give $40 billion to Argentina. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Google Scott Bessent, and it's spelled Bessent, because I know you don't know, and it's Scott, 2 T's. Scott, and last name Bessent, Bessent, $40 billion Argentina. Look it up. We did. I don't know why you're doubting me. Look, and you know what's going to happen is the MAGA is going to say, no, we didn't. No, it ain't. No, it weren't. And then they're going to find out that it's real, and they're just going to go, well, we did it because of this. So when they hear it initially, they're really shocked by it. No, we did not. No, we did not. You know, no, we did not. And then as soon as they find out that we did it, they go, no, well, we had to. Well, we had to. We had to do it that way. We had to do it that way. First off, ICE was not used in a better way to deport more immigrants. Obama just happened to use due process. Obama used the court system. Obama did go after the worst of the worst, the actual criminals. And again, I don't agree with Obama's immigration policy per se. I think that the immigration system in the United States needs to be fixed as opposed to just kicking people out. I think immigrants are what makes this country great. We clearly have plenty of room. We have plenty of land. That's not even the issue at all, right? So my definition of the serial aisle supports the founding fathers' reason for the electoral college. The electoral college exists to maintain slavery. So that's not actually why the founding fathers had the electoral college. The electoral college exists to maintain slavery. In fact, it's not the same as the electoral college because the majority of people should have a voice. States don't vote, land doesn't vote, human beings vote, and the majority of people's opinion matters the most. So no, what you're saying doesn't. This is what I hate about analogies is that the MAGA are so bad at it. They're so bad at analogies and they're so just dumb. And analogies are a great tool of manipulation. That's what religion teaches you is like analogies are so to make a concept more solid in your brain, but they're always lies. Like I can make an analogy and manipulate anything. It's so easy. Like actually, the Electoral College was created to give slave-owning states more say in the presidential election because they wanted to continue owning human beings. Now, knowing that the Electoral College was put there to maintain ownership of human beings, that should make you go, oh, that's probably bad for me. Now, here's the question. Why would you not want there just to be a majority vote on the president? It's so simple. It's so simple. Why would you not want your voice to be heard? Why would you not want your voice to be heard? You know, why would you not want that? Why was having your voice heard bad? You know? Why did Obama give Iran billions in cash and still gave less money than Donald Trump? Donald Trump just gave Iran 300 billion. 300. How much did Obama give Iran in order to like keep them at peace with the United States? 150 billion, which by the way was negotiated with Republicans on board. Like to pretend that this was not some bipartisan thing is so stupid, silly. So Obama gives $150 billion to Iran with the idea that they're not going to continue their nuclear program. They're going to continue to maintain it peace, which they did. And obviously we didn't have any problems with Iran here in the United States. And Donald Trump is still in a war with the country, is losing. People, American soldiers have died. Iranian citizens have died. Everything's worse. Oil is more expensive. Your gasoline is more expensive. And we give them double what Obama gave them. And you want to talk about Obama. Obama. What about Obama? What about Obama? What about Joe Biden? What about Joe Biden and Obama? What about Joe Obama? What about Joe Obama? What about Joe Obama? Oh, there you go. It was Iran's money frozen because of the embassy. Well, there you go. There you go. He gave the money back to them. There you go. It all makes sense. You know, Obama. Why did Trump give Iran 300 billion? Exactly, Jonathan. Exactly. Do I support Obama? Yeah, I liked Barack Obama. I miss having a president of the United States who the rest of the world saw as a beacon of hope and democracy and also a respectable human being. I miss Barack Obama actually loving his wife and his family. I miss the normalcy of the before times 150%. And you know what? Even George W. Bush had a normal life where he actually loved his family and stuff. Like now we have this pretend nonsense of these gross aristocrat billionaire gross people who it's just and they're all pervs. I hate it. You know, I hate it. Trump gave Iran billions. Yes, 300 billion. 300 billion. Where's my shirt from? ChelseaGods.com. Yeah. Thank you guys for joining live. My name is Chelsea Gods. I'm a comedian, political activist, and content creator located here on the internet. I'm live right now on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. And I'm also over on TikTok on my phone. If you guys are interested in my hats, my necklaces, my shirts, any of the things that you see me wearing, and any of the content that I create, it's always available over on my website, ChelseaGods.com. And for the most part, I have like my clothing made in the United States. So these shirts are printed and shipped from outside of Los Angeles, California. I love John Ossoff. Someone asked me what I think about John Ossoff. I love John Ossoff. He's so smart. He's dreamy. Make presidents hot again. In fact, in the conversation about John Ossoff, make presidents hot again. Except for how about John Ossoff as my vice president? I'll be president. John Ossoff can be vice president. There we go. Decision made. Decision made. Old liberal women are going to be the death of the country. Jeff, you're older than me. And yes, we know that you don't like women who are of age. We're already aware that you guys like children. That's sort of the problem. That's sort of the problem. I always love that. First off, can you imagine like looking at me and be like, she's old and has no value? That's because they like children. That's because they like kids. That's because they're into kids. We knew that though, didn't we? We knew that. Thank you for saying that I'm funny. I try. I'm naturally like pretty funny. I'm naturally very quick-witted. I'm naturally like very quick on my feet, you know. Trump did give $300 billion to Iran. I love this. The MAGA are arguing with me that Trump did not do that. As if you can't just look it up. As if you can't just look it up and find out that he did. Like, this is again what they're gonna do. They're gonna be like, nuh-uh, no, it ain't, no, it weren't, it didn't happen. And then when they find out it did happen, they're just going to ignore it and they're gonna make an excuse for it. So what's the point? So what's the point? Why do I hate ICE? I don't believe that we should have a mass paramilitary police force out on the streets of America terrorizing human beings. In fact, I think that when you look at ICE out on the streets of the United States right now, that it doesn't look like the kind of country that's free. I don't think free countries do that. I don't think free countries have people being afraid in the streets. I don't think free countries do things by force. I don't think free countries murder people in the streets. I don't think free countries are a police state. It's so simple. It's so simple. I don't think free countries look like this. During Barack Obama's presidency, did he have an armed mass paramilitary force on the streets of the United States? I'm not doing this every day. No, he did not. No, he did not. They weren't chasing people in grocery store parking lots. They weren't pointing guns at white women in their cars and shooting them in their faces from the side of their window. They weren't murdering legal citizens in Texas, in Brownsville, Texas. They weren't breaking the arms of 17-year-old children. I hate this conversation because it's disingenuous at its very core. They want to sit there and be like, Obama, 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 because they can't get over Barack Obama because they're so offended by the fact that a black man who was excellent made it to be president of the United States that they keep bringing Obama up. Well, yeah, I will bring up Barack Obama. If Barack Obama was so good at deporting people and he didn't do it in the way that Trump is doing it, he didn't spend as much money as Trump did, he didn't F it up as much as Trump did, he didn't have to create a network of for-profit concentration camps, he didn't spend more money than ever in United States history, then yeah, Barack Obama was obviously a better president, period. Drop the freaking mic, Barack Obama. You guys are going to sit there and act like you love deportations and simultaneously hate Obama? Like you were going to hold me to some double standard, which I clearly don't have a double standard. Like I don't agree with deportations. I think that the immigration system should be fixed, but Barack Obama didn't do it in the way that Donald Trump did, and somehow he was still more efficient. Somehow he was still better. Okay, well, thanks for agreeing that Obama was better. That's all I need to hear. That's all I need to hear is that Obama was better. Obama was better at everything. He's better at basketball. He was better at not cheating on his wife. He was better at actually loving his children. He was better at being a good human being. He was better at talking. He was better at freaking everything. He was better at being hotter. He was better at everything. So yeah, I'm going to agree. Barack Obama's better, period. Like 100%. Like, okay, great. I'm glad we can agree. Yay, Barack Obama. See what happens if I enter another country illegally? I can guarantee you that if you enter the country of France illegally, that they're not going to send an armed mass paramilitary guards to chase you down and possibly murder you in the streets. What a funny question. Oh, what if you did that in another country? Yeah. I actually do know what would happen in a country that tries to say that they believe in democracy and freedom. They would espouse the principles of democracy and freedom in the way that they operate. That's what they would do. That's what they would do. Period. Chaz says Trump and his supporters should go to hell. Yes. Yes. Yes, absolutely. ICE is going to be going to prison for the rest of their existence, and I will be grateful to be one of the people doing so. I will watch their trials with a lot of joy. You know, when the Schnazis were in power, they thought that their power would never end, but it ended a lot sooner than they thought it would. And when it did end, all those peons got, and I can't wait until they got. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it because we all know that conservatives don't win history. We may swing backwards into this kind of authoritarianism, but it always swings the other way, and you always get got. I will tell you, there is not one person in 2026 who talks about Strom Thurmond, the prolific racist who prevented civil rights in the United States of America, but there are millions of people who talk about Martin Luther King, and I will tell you that is how history always goes, and you will lose every freaking time. And Trump will be remembered as one of the most monstrous, one of the most corrupt, one of the most awful people to exist in the world history. And in 50 years from now, children will be talking about the terrible things that he did here in this country and the terrible things that he did here on this planet today. And I will make sure that all of those people who are harming human beings, who are hunting human beings, who are dehumanizing others, who are torturing other human beings, I will be one of those people who make sure that those people go to trial and they get exactly what they deserve. And yeah, they'll go to trial. You know why they'll go to trial? Because I believe in due process, because I believe in human rights, because I am here to advocate for human rights and advocate for justice. And I'm going to be super, super happy to be one of the people who's shutting the book on this chapter of history. I cannot even wait. Just so you guys know, this is not a short-term project. This is a long-term project. Coming out of a dictatorship is not something that happens in 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years. This is something that's going to take 10 years, 15 years, 25 years. You need to be prepared that this is a long-term project. But we're not fighting for tomorrow. We're not fighting for what is just tomorrow. We are fighting for what is the entire future of the entire planet. If we do not fight back, if we do not stand up, if we do not use our voices, if we do not change the narrative of what is and is not possible in the United States of America, if we don't push forward with people first, human first, progressive policies, then our entire civilization will cease existing in the way that we see it, because they want to destroy the planet. Donald Trump just gave 3 million acres of your land. You owned it. You're a public landowner. I'm a public landowner. He just gave $3 million of your land to his friends to destroy the planet. And they're telling you, don't worry about it. AI is going to tell us how to solve things. Can you imagine? They're asking Skynet. They're asking Skynet to save us. Well, Skynet isn't going to save us. Skynet is going to destroy us. But you know who will save us? Humans like me who actually care about other human beings. I don't know why MAGA don't get it, but caring about human beings is literally the only way forward. The only way that the next generation continues is if the last generation cared enough to make sure that you would exist, okay? And if your water is gone, you will not exist. If your air is polluted, you will not exist. Okay? And 3 million acres of your land was given to the richest people, not because, and they didn't even have to pay for it. He just gave it to them. And you're not even a member of that club, and you're cheering on your own destruction. So stupid. So stupid. Dave says he's never been to America, but Obama was everything you always thought America was. Leader of the free world, respected and admired. And now we have a corrupt pedo. Yep, that's exactly right. That's exactly where we're at. Obama was respected worldwide because of who he was. And because he stood for the American dream. Barack Obama came from nothing and became president of the United States. That is the American dream. Now, Donald Trump came from wealth, was born into wealth, had a golden spoon in his mouth his entire life, and he takes a dump in gold toilets. And a bunch of dumb losers in my comment section right now think that that man is on their side. Well, here's the deal. Donald Trump has never gone to a grocery store in his life. He's never had to do grocery shopping. Donald Trump has never had to make a meal in his entire existence. Do you think that man cares about you really? With gasoline, he's never even had to drive a car. He doesn't even have a license. Donald Trump has never even had a dog. Barack Obama had a dog. Barack Obama had a dog. JD Vance? Yes, I want you guys to run JD Vance. Please. Can you run JD Vance? Can you run JD Vance? Yeah. Run JD Vance, please. By all means, that's who I want the nominee to be. My favorite part about JD Vance is that nobody likes him. My favorite part about JD Vance is that nobody likes him. Not even Usha or his mom. That's my favorite part about JD Vance. Why should rich people go to a store? They are rich. Well, see, now you're starting to understand. Wouldn't it be better if your leaders understood the plight of regular people instead of not understanding it? There you go. You just figured it out. There you go. Your leaders should understand what everyday life is like. Thank you for saying you love my hat. Thank you. Yes, deport Elon. Absolutely. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. He didn't have a dog because he loves to kill puppies. Yeah, that seems right. Why are kids dealing with adult issues? Well, because politics affects everyone's everyday life now. Because politics is something that affects everyone's everyday life now. It's not like it was 20 years ago. 20 years ago, the president would change. The system worked. There was a system of checks and balances in place. And now you live in a dictatorship. You live in a dictatorship. It's run by a single party. They're going after people for political differences. They're putting people with political differences in prison. Like, they're putting people in concentration camps. The reason why children are involved in politics now is because politics is part of your everyday life. I also would like to go back to a time period where politics does not consume every single part of our everyday lives. But we can't do that because Donald Trump is the person who took that normalcy away. Donald Trump took the normalcy of the United States of America and completely destroyed it for his own megalomaniac power trip. Donald Trump doesn't care about anyone but himself, and he would stop at nothing in order to, like, maintain power. Donald Trump on his own wall in his own offices puts up his pictures with oligarchs and dictators because that's what he wants to be. He wants to be a person who controls others. He doesn't believe in democracy. He doesn't believe in freedom. He doesn't believe in the things that make America great. And he doesn't want poor people to get rich. You know, I love America. I love America more than any billionaire ever. There are no billionaires who love America. There are no rich people who love America. There are none of those people who would put themselves on the line to do what's right for regular human beings. I love America. I had an opportunity to leave this country a little bit more than a year ago, and I made the solid choice to stay here and fight for democracy and freedom and for the 338 million regular people in this country. You know, Trump does not know what democracy is because he doesn't believe in it. He doesn't believe in it. He thinks that voting is like a popular test. He doesn't understand any other part of it. He doesn't understand like the point of the system. He's never read the Constitution. He's never read a book in his entire life. Donald Trump hates the United States of America. He hates everything that this country stands for. He hates the idea of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. He hates freedom at its very core, and he hates human rights. And just so you know, freedom and human rights are co-mingled with each other. They are a concept that is married to each other. Freedom does not exist without human rights. If you violate human rights, you do not have freedom. And if your government is willfully violating human rights, that's because you don't live in a country with freedom. Donald Trump's closest advisor is Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller, when he was as young as a 17-year-old balding in high school, espoused his belief that torture was good. And here's the secret that you guys need to know, that if your government leaders are pro-torture, they don't use it just against their enemies. They also use it against you. Because they don't care about you, because they don't care about anyone, because they lack kindness, because they lack humanity. And you guys need to understand that when you put people into positions of power who display traits of sociopathy, then you shouldn't understand that that's going to affect you negatively as well. Oppression is not linear. It doesn't just affect the people who you don't like. It will oppress you as well. When we're using analogies like Donald Trump being Darth Vader, or the Trump presidency being like Darth Vader, you guys need to remember that Darth Vader didn't just kill Jedis. Darth Vader also killed stormtroopers. Darth Vader also killed people on his own council. Bad people will also harm the people who are on their side, because it's not about, like, it's the same way that the H-man did in Germany. He also took people out who were his loyalists. There is no one who is safe in these kinds of systems, because we're at the wills and whims of, psycho greedy people. If you put people into positions of power in control of other human beings who don't care about other human beings, they also don't care about you. They also don't care about you. It's absolutely crazy. There's this whole speech from when Stephen Miller was in high school where he's complaining about having to pick up his own trash because janitors should pick up trash after him. He is a trash human being from the very core, espousing his belief in, racial superiority and all these other things, and you guys think it's going to work out for you. It's not. Putting people who like torture into positions of power doesn't work out for you or anyone at all. You're can you imagine they're still obsessed with Kamala Harris. Yeah, I'm obsessed too. She's hot, super hot, super hot. An estimated 762,000 excess deaths, including 500,000 children, are related to USAID funding cuts. Hey, pro-lifers, where are you at now? Where are you at now, ho? Just kidding. I know where you're at. You don't care about life. You do care about controlling women's bodies. It was never about life. It was never about human beings. It was never about children. It was never about making the lives of other people better. These people also cheer on cutting the food stamps of children. Last month in July, 1.5 million children lost their food stamps in the United States of America. 1.5 million children are going hungrier in this country because of the policies of Republicans. And then they'll sit there and tell me that they're pro-life. And they genuinely are not. They're pro-torture. They're pro-war. They're pro-cutting food stamps. They're pro-cutting welfare. They're pro making life harder for everybody else, and the only thing they have going for themselves is being selfish and greedy. Oh my God, this person named Shannon is a guy. Did your parents hate you? They did. First off, I know it's pronounced USAID. You know why I know it's pronounced USAID? Because I had a friend back in Utah who worked with USAID over in Ukraine. So I know it's pronounced USAID. I don't know why you would say otherwise. It's not USAID or anything. It's USAID. So you're welcome. Hey, someone from Colorado. Awesome. No wonder Shannon is mad. Hilarious. Melania is a legal citizen. Are you sure about that? Do you want to go ahead and Google Melania worked illegally in the United States, Fox News, and let me know what those results pull up for you? Oh, good. Someone from Minneapolis. Awesome. Yeah, Christy, not okay with that. Not okay with that. I'm a criminal. Uh-oh. RB wants hurting his feelings to be made illegal. I would like you to know that the First Amendment of the United States says the right of free speech shall not be infringed. Shall not be infringed. But hurting your feelings Maybe they can use the army to help remove illegals. So, can you let me know a country that's full of military that actually is free? Can you let me know a country that has a military everywhere on the streets that actually espouses the values of freedom? Like, I feel like these people are like, I love America. I love America. And then I'm like, okay, well, what does freedom mean? And they don't believe in freedom. They don't believe in freedom, you know? Yeah, Marco Rubio, birthright citizenship. What about Ted Cruz? Get him out of there. Get him out of there. Foreigners, right? Oh, we got Michigan. The Swiss Guard in Vatican City. Did we try and claim that the Vatican City is a democracy or something? It's not. And there's not like them standing at the gate for formal purposes to like be a tourist trap is not really the same thing as a military occupation of your own country, is it? Geo is a bot. It is illegal for Trump to run in 2028. By the way, they're going to push Trump to run in 2028. Anytime your leaders go outside of the term limits, it's because they are dictators, just like with Benjamin Netanyahu, just like with Vladimir Putin, just like with Viktor Orban, just like with Erdogan, just like with Duterte. Anytime your leaders are unwilling to abdicate their positions and allow for the peaceful transfer of power, that's because they don't believe in freedom and democracy. Dictatorship is the opposite of freedom. It's anti-American. And I would like to go on the record and say every MAGA in the entire United States is anti-American at their core. And any of you people who say Trump 2028 are anti-American and you hate our Constitution, because that's the entire country. The Constitution is our government. The Constitution is our country. And if you don't believe in the founding documents and you don't believe in the law and order of the country, that's because you hate the country. They love Trump and they hate America. And they may wrap the flag around their shoulders and pretend that they love America, but they just like the fashion statement of it. They don't like what the country actually stands for. Oh, you were joking? Scott, you're like, I was joking. That is funny, Scott. I couldn't tell it's sarcasm, but now I appreciate you. Scott says he wasn't really saying the Swiss Guard in Vatican City. Exactly. There's no free countries that have military forces on the streets. There's nothing about freedom that has anything to do with that. Like, that's not what freedom means. That's not what democracy means. That's not good for anybody. Can you let me, I am going to run Chelsea president 2028. Can you let me know when keeping a person in power indefinitely has been good for the masses? Because it's always good for the leader, because the leader robs, right? The leader steals from the government. They take money from the government. They enrich themselves and their family from the government, but they never do what's right for human beings. So I think that's like funny. I never understood why people supported dictators and why that would be something that happens, but seeing it happen in real time in the United States of America gives me an interesting perspective into things. They should all enter here legally, just like the invaders using bayonets and guns murdering indigenous people. All right, I did get that sarcasm. I did get that one. Yeah, I agree. Vote for America and not for dictators. Yeah, absolutely. Vote for this country and the principles for which we stand, which is life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, and that all men are created equal. You know, we have to believe in equal rights. We have to believe in humanity. That's just how it goes. Melania did not do it the correct way. I'm going to stand 10 toes down in this and let you know that Melania worked illegally in the United States, and you can find it on a Fox News article from 2016, from before Donald Trump became president. Melania worked illegally in the United States of America. She obtained her visa fraudulently. So if you want to talk about doing it the right way, do I believe the Constitution is colorblind? No, of course I don't. I know that the Constitution was written by white Anglo-Saxon Protestant landowners. In fact, in the founding of the country, there were not allowed anybody to vote except for landowners, and that we've expanded voting rights throughout the ages. But I do want to talk about like why this is important, is that the Constitution always allowed for expansion and always allowed for people to change it. That's why the first 10 amendments of the Constitution are called the Bill of Rights. That's why the first 10 amendments of the Constitution are called the Bill of Rights. That's what I believe in the United States of America. Do I think that the United States of America is a perfect country? No, obviously not. We're in a dictatorship right now. We live in a dictatorship right now. But I do believe in the promise of the United States of America. Bring me your tired, your cold, your huddled, hungry masses yearning to be free. Like, that's what I believe in. I do believe that this country was founded and created for immigrants. I think immigrants are what makes this country great. Every time you eat a pizza, well, you can thank immigrants for that. And when the Italians came here, they were treated the same way you guys are treating Mexicans right now. When you talk about American food, there is no American food. The food that we eat here is an amalgamation of all the countries that make this country great. Okay? Like, the people of this country is what makes the United States great. I love Mexicans. I don't care about them, not even at all. I literally don't care about undocumented immigrants even at all. Undocumented immigrants are not why my housing is more expensive. My housing is more expensive because billionaires have been purchasing all the housing. Undocumented immigrants are not why we can't afford groceries. Our groceries are more expensive because of billionaires. You guys are so concerned about immigrants as if they're affecting your life in some negative way, and they genuinely aren't. The people who are affecting your life in a negative way are, in fact, the oligarchs and the billionaires who've made it completely unaffordable for you to even afford healthcare. Even the most basic of things are unaffordable in the United States in 2026. And it's not because of immigrants. It is, in fact, because of a minority population. And that minority population is greedy billionaires. Greedy billionaires. Our land was stolen. We committed a genocide. We killed somewhere between 50 to 100 million Native Americans across the American continents. That is a reality of what happened. As a reality of how this country was created. I grew up in Utah, and Mormons stole that land from Native Americans. I'm here in California. This land was stolen from Native Americans too. And this land, because it was taken by people by force, should be given to people in the name of freedom and democracy, and we should be setting it right. That's what this country is, you know? This country is great because of the people in it. This country is great because of the immigrants in it. And I have to tell you guys that hardworking immigrants are the backbone of American culture and the American economy. I live in California. There are tons of Mexicans here. You know, how many of my anonymous donors are millionaires? Not many, Raymond Buckley, and none of them are billionaires. I'm not owned by any billionaires. There are 926 billionaires in the United States of America, and none of you in my chat right now are ever going to be one of them. And it's not because you're not smart. It's not because you're not dedicated. It's not because you're not good at your job. It's not because you're not hardworking. It's not because you don't want to be a billionaire. It's because you were not given that hand in life in the lottery. And just so you know, it is a lottery of life. I want economic policies to work for the majority of people. I want most regular people to be able to afford a regular life. But right now, most regular people are struggling. And the reason why we're struggling is because of the billionaires, because they are greedy. There's no amount of money that's enough for them. So much so that they continue to have to please their shareholders, continually have 15 to 20% returns every single year. And they will do it squeezing every drop of blood dry from you. They will do it taking every last penny you have, and they will not care. And they don't need more yachts, okay? How many billions of dollars do people really need? How many houses do corporations really need to own? How many lives need to be negatively affected because these people have an insatiable hunger for greed? It's crazy. You're not paying attention to the minority that's actually destroying the country, the things that actually affect your life. Why aren't there jobs? The billionaires. They're cutting all of the jobs. And it has nothing to do with giving them tax breaks or anything either. We gave the largest tax break in the company history of Facebook to Facebook this year. The United States, because of the big, beautiful bill, made it so that Facebook paid the least amount of taxes it's ever paid in its entire existence. And you know what Facebook rewarded the United States with for giving them the lowest amount of taxes? They cut 8,000 jobs in April. They cut 8,000 jobs, not because Facebook can't afford to have 8,000 additional people on staff, but because the greed of the billionaires is insatiable. The greed of the billionaires is demonstrably insatiable, and they will cut as many jobs as possible until nobody has any work. They will ruin your life as long as Mark Zuckerberg can have a few more $1 billion. It's crazy. It's crazy. Luke, absolutely. GTBOH. GTBOH. They do not create hundreds of thousands of good paying jobs. That's not true. They create as few of jobs as possible. They cut as many jobs as possible. Isn't that funny that in the face of reality, you will still deny the reality of it? I tell you that we gave Facebook a huge amount of tax cuts because the idea is that if we give tax cuts to the rich, that it's going to trickle down and that we're going to see the benefits of that in our economy. And then I tell you, hey, we gave them the most amount of tax cuts and they cut jobs. And you're like, that's fine. You're cheering on your own destruction. Okay. You're cheering on the own destruction. You know, I'm a communist because I think billionaires should pay living wages. I love this person. You're a communist. You want people to have a regular life. You want regular people to be able to afford houses. Communist. You're dumb. Like the minimum wage in the United States of America hasn't changed in 20 years, and you're worried about communism. Well, I'm worried about people being able to afford to eat next month. Okay. Elon Musk employs 150,000 people. The population of the United States is 338 million people. Elon Musk makes something like $1 million a second. It's something crazy. It's like something insane. Elon Musk is making like $1 million a second, and you're like, well, he employs 150,000 people. He could employ 1 million people, and he doesn't. He could employ 1 million people and still be the richest man in the world, and he doesn't. And he doesn't. You guys keep cheering on. I don't know what to tell you. When in the history of any time have the rich ever done anything right for regular people? When have they been on your side? When has that worked out? When? When? When has that worked out? It doesn't work out. There's no need for big stuff. Hilarious. You guys, they're cheering on not having jobs. Well, when you guys don't have jobs in the future and or if you're a blue collar worker and you don't have any customers in the future because nobody can afford anything, you're going to remember this conversation because you're not even on your own side. They're so dumb. They all think they're going to win the lottery of life. They all think they're going to win the lottery of life. They all think that they're going to work hard enough to become billionaires, and they're literally poor. It's always dudes making $45,000 a year cheering on billionaires. Cheering on billionaires. I love this. I'm blinded by emotion and not reality. I just told you the reality that they cut jobs. I told you the reality that when you give tax cuts to billionaires, that they don't create jobs, that they eliminate jobs. And you're like, she's doing this with her emotions. And I like give you statistic after statistic. And you're like, I'm going to not listen. Okay, well, don't listen. Go ahead and cheer on your own destruction. Be stupid. I know everybody in this chat is struggling financially. I know 67% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. And I don't think that you guys are above that. I think that you don't want to admit it because you think to yourself, I work all the time. I'm working a full-time job. I'm putting so much time and effort into things. I'm working all the time. Why am I still struggling? Yeah, exactly. Now you're starting to understand the problem. Or maybe if you lose your job, you'll find out that there's no new jobs available for you. And that, again, has everything to do with the fact that billionaires are destroying the economy. Jesus is not even mad at you. Isn't that so weird? Like, no one's here talking about your imaginary friend. Isn't it so weird that all these people who have an imaginary friend always want to play imaginary friend? Well, I don't want to play imaginary friend. Neither does anybody else. Go play imaginary friend with other people who want to play imaginary friend. It's usually on Sunday, unless you're a member of a cult church, in which case they probably have you play imaginary friend other days of the week. Go play imaginary friend with the people who want to play imaginary friend. I don't want to play imaginary friend. My imaginary friend is Rumpelstiltskin. He's going to teach me how to spin straw into gold later. You know? Thank you for saying you love my hat. By the way, if you guys like any of my shirts or my hat or my necklaces, you can head on over to my website, chelseagods.com, and click on, and you can purchase all of my merch there. Get your very official Deport Melania hat, GTBOH. Join the fastest growing cult in the United States of America. Why do I want illegals? I first off, I would never call a human being illegal as if they don't belong on this land. Every single one of those Mexican people are more American than me. They literally come from the Americas. They are literally from here. Their skin indicates to me that they are part of this land. Me, not so much. I'm a pasty European. Can't you tell? I'm a pasty European American. Where are you from? Is my merch from China? I think you didn't listen, that this is a 100% cotton shirt that is printed and shipped from the United States of America. That's right. I do care about the planet. I care about trying to do things as best as possible. And most of my clothing is printed and shipped from the United States of America. FYI, I do hate people who spam. I hate people who spam. Oh, yeah. He's making $200,000 a year. I always love this. These people who are lying about how much money they're making online as if it's real. Sure, bro. Sure, bro. Everyone believes you. You also have the really hot girlfriend. She goes to a different school. She's from Canada. Nobody's ever met her before. Like, I always think this is so funny. Well, here's the deal. Even if I made $1 billion a year, I still would want other people in this country to be doing well financially. And I still would care about the plight of 67% of people who are living paycheck to paycheck. I still would care about 60% of Americans who cannot afford a normal lifestyle. I still would care about the fact that all of the money is being put into the hands of the rich and being taken from the poor. I still would care about the wealth redistribution that has destroyed the American middle class. We know that the middle class in the United States of America no longer exists and statistically is not there. And I care about that. I care about people having a good life. We know that progressive tax policies create a robust middle class that make it so that a majority of people have a better existence. And I believe that the most amount of people should have the best amount of life. And I don't think that's controversial. What I do find to be controversial is the way Jesus gives life and more. No, he doesn't. Your mom gave you life. Your bones came from the bones of your mother. Your DNA came from her as well. Every part of your being came into this planet because a woman decided to sacrifice herself for you. And I will never give credit to some imaginary pretend man from a stupid fairy tale book. Like, I don't even know how the story of Jesus makes any sense either. I kind of went off on this a little bit earlier. The story of the resurrection doesn't make any sense. The story of the resurrection doesn't make any sense. God could just forgive you. Jesus wasn't even going to die. He knew he wasn't going to die. He was the son of God. He died for you. He knew he wasn't going to die. He knew that. Doesn't even make any sense. Am I married? Yes. I am married. Yes. Oh yeah, Adam's making $2 million a year. There you go. If you're only making 200,000 a year, it won't last. Again, the things people say online and pretend online, hilarious. Hilarious. I love it. I love it. So freaking funny. So freaking funny. Quit twisting the Bible. I'm not twisting the Bible. I'm telling you that God didn't have to die for you because he already knew he was God and that he could have just forgiven you because he wanted to. If everything is in God's hand, then I guess it's fair that we blame him. That's part of my song, God is my favorite abortionist, which by the way, I'll release that. I'm going to release that tomorrow. God is my favorite abortionist. You don't need to twist it. I didn't twist it. I'm literally telling you the Bible. I've read the Bible. I'm pretty familiar with the stories of the Bible. I don't buy any of it, you know. You think I look terrible? Good. I don't want you to like me. Oh no, you guys. Oh no, you guys. The MAGA, his disco stick doesn't get hard when he looks at me. Oh no. He's not attracted to me. An old man who's angry online. How am I gonna survive? How am I gonna survive that? Oh no. I'm gonna survive it. I'm gonna survive it. You know, I'm gonna do it. God sent his own son to his death, but he wasn't really going to die because like he already knew that he was God. Right? Like he knew he was God. Uh-oh, we got a man who likes to tug his disco stick to chicks with disco sticks. We got a man in the chat who wants to talk about human genitalia. You know, nobody else is talking about. Cindy, welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. I love this. The hair alliance. Have you looked at Donald Trump's hair? Have you looked at Donald Trump's hair at all? Have you looked at the color of his skin at all? Have you looked at the face of any of those women at all? Like, where are you guys at? Donald Trump absolutely knows who I am. The White House knows who I am. 100%. 100% the White House knows who I am. Kristi Noem was absolutely fired because of my work. They know exactly. They know exactly who I am. Absolutely. Absolutely. They know exactly who I am. Yep. Have I looked at my face? Yeah, I'm beautiful. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for asking. Yes, beautiful. I know. Yeah, thanks for asking. Have I looked at my face? Yes. Beautiful. Like I know exactly like what I look like. I always think this is like so funny as if like I don't know. The other day I went to Home Depot with my mom and before we went out my mom's like, "Chelsea, you look so pretty today." I was like, "Thanks, mom." And she's my mom, so I would expect her to say that, right? And then we go into Home Depot and some random man as I turn a corner looks at me and he's like, "You're gorgeous." And I'm like, "Thank you." And I have to tell you guys that happens to me all the time because I know that I look pretty online and it's even more devastating in person. Like I don't know how to describe it. I know I'm pretty. I don't try and pretend that I'm not. I don't try and be humble about it. I didn't learn that I was beautiful until I was 35 years old. I'm 40 years old now. And I'm grateful for what I look like. I'm grateful for my confidence. I'm grateful for the way I carry myself. I'm grateful for all of the talents that I have. And I'm also grateful for all the struggle that I've had in my life that led me to where I am now. And there's like no amount of anything. I love that. Things that'll never happen. It happens all the time to me. When you're a beautiful person inside and out, the world will see it on your countenance and you will be rewarded for it. My outside looks the way it does because it matches my inside. And and the aura and the aura that I have around me, I use for good for a reason because I know that I get to use it for good, right? Ah, Thank you so much. That is my friend Aaron, and he is my friend. He and his wife are my real friends. You know, and I do have white privilege. Yeah, I do have white privilege. Yes, absolutely. And I use that white privilege for good. Like, I'm aware of that. I have pretty white privilege. I have pretty white lady privilege. I know that. I know that. Hey, Michael, if you can smell your phone, if you can smell something and you think it's a video, it's your house. It's time for you to throw away all of those bottles of piss you've been keeping in Mountain Dew 2 liters in your bedroom. Okay. So if something smells funky, your phone doesn't make smells. I don't know if I've had to tell you that before, but I'm going to tell you it now. It's time to clean up all of those Mountain Dew piss bottles. Okay. Like, it's time. Oh no. Oh no, a MAGA doesn't like me. Good. See you later. No one cares. Oh no. I do you think I want a MAGA to like me? I don't. I don't. Not at all. Never once in my life have I thought to myself, I hope a MAGA really likes me. I hope you guys like lemming yourself off a cliff, if we're being honest. Like, that's what I hope for you. I don't want you to like me at all. You know, it is cathartic. Thank you. Thank you. White privilege isn't a thing. Oh, it absolutely is. It absolutely is. When I yell at the police, absolutely nothing happens to me. And that would not happen to a person of color. When I put myself in between the police and another person, nothing happens to me. And that would not happen to a person of color. White privilege absolutely exists. When I get a ticket or something and I just like bat my eyes, they let me go. That is white privilege in action. That's white pretty privilege in action. I know I operate within a privilege system. Like, I know that I operate in a space of privilege. And you guys cannot understand what pretty privilege is. When you are a pretty white lady, the world is your oyster for some things. And I know it. So I'm going to use it for good. I have nothing else to use it for. Have I been another color? No, of course not. But my partner is another color and his world is different than mine, you know? His world is different than mine. And I understand that. I try and have empathy for that. Nobody supports Donald Trump. Nobody supports him. Nobody real. Nobody real. Nobody real supports Donald Trump, you know? I am for women's rights. Yeah, absolutely. I'm pro women's rights. Absolutely. I happen to know if this person wants to talk about women being assaulted, I happen to know for a fact that 80% of women are assaulted by somebody they know. What SA actually looks like in the United States of America is their dads, their brothers, their uncles, their cousins, their church leaders, their Boy Scout leaders, and otherwise. That's what assault actually looks like in the United States of America. If you want to talk about protecting women, they need to be protected from the people who they know. Jeffrey Epstein did not um, you know, not know the people who he was assaulting. He knew them. He didn't like randomly find them on a street. He didn't stalk them in a bathroom and assault them. He groomed them to be assaulted. Like, that's what SA actually looks like in the United States of America. Because I am for women's rights, it's really important to me that we don't try and pretend that it's strangers who are hurting women and children. It's actually the people who they know. It's actually the people who they know. If you want to talk about protecting women and children, I don't want to hear you talk about bathrooms. I want to hear you talk about churches. I want to hear you talk about evangelical churches. I want to hear you talk about where these assaults are actually taking place. I want to hear you talk about Christian youth camp. I want to hear you talk about Christian youth leaders. I want to hear you talk about the people who this is actually happening to. In fact, just today, there was a Republican who was arrested in Florida, a Ron DeSantis appointee, by the way, who was arrested in Florida for assaulting his grandson. Okay. For harming his grandson. And I haven't heard any of you guys talk about that. I haven't heard you guys talk about it. You care about children? Where are you? You want to care about protecting kids? Why is it always a Republican getting arrested? There's another Florida representative. He's a representative from Miami who he sexually assaulted his staffers. And you guys have been completely silent about that. He didn't just assault them. He raped them. He raped multiple of them. He had to pay a $450,000 lawsuit to 2 of them, and he's still in power. Like, you guys want to talk about where these people who are pervs are coming from? Like, we know the answer. We know the answer. It's from the Republican Party. Tinkerbell, thank you so much for my necklace says it all. You know what's so funny is I'm sitting here talking about like protecting women and things that actually happen. And the thing that you think is evil is a necklace. You know what I think is evil? Allowing a man who raped 2 of his assistants to remain in power in MAGA Republican Florida. I think that's evil. Like, the things that people are offended by is always really funny to me because they're never offended by violence. They're never offended by assault. They're never offended by things that are actually offensive. They're offended by language and some numbers. They're not offended by blowing children up with $5 million of bombs. They're not offended by blowing children up. Like, what are you guys offended by? You're not offended by Trump being a rapist. Like, what are you actually offended by? I don't want to hear someone say Jeffrey Epstein is a Democrat, because if he was a Democrat and there were Democrats in those files, then Trump would have gone after them and not said that it was a hoax. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to sit there and pretend that we're going to say it's a political party thing, because if it was actually a political party thing, then wouldn't Donald Trump have gone after them? Wouldn't Donald Trump have gone after them? Come on. Wouldn't he have gone after them? Why doesn't he go after him? Why did he say that the files were a hoax? Why did he say that the files are a Democrat hoax? Why did not, there were only 2 Republicans who voted to release the files, and 115 Democrats and 2 Republicans. Who are the 2 Republicans who voted to release the files? Who are the 2 Republicans who voted to release the files? Who are the 2 Republicans who voted to release the files? Who are they? Who are they? It was Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massie. 2 Republicans voted to release the files. Only 2. And what happened to them for voting to release the files? What happened to them for voting to release the files? I'm trying to get my camera to go back. I don't know how to do it. What happened to those people who voted to release the files? Donald Trump primaried them or kicked them out, because Donald Trump wanted to protect the people in the files, which include himself. That's just the facts. How come Donald Trump is currently the people preventing the files from being released in full? They've been ordered by court to release the files in full, but they won't. If it's all Democrats in there, like you're trying to claim, then why aren't they releasing them? Because his name is all over it. Exactly. Charlie Kirk did not want them released. Charlie Kirk was absolutely murdered by that boy in Utah. That boy in Utah is the most Utah product ever. He grew up in a super conservative family. So much behind that. There's so much behind that. If he's breaking the law and the Constitution, why is he still allowed to be there? Because the entire government is compromised. What a dumb question. Same reason why after he raped a woman, he's president of the United States, because the government is compromised. Because you're sitting there you want a system that was made to protect predators and terrible people, to hold them accountable, and it's not, because that system is working the way it's intended. There's this one speech by Representative Melanie Stansbury from New Mexico that is so good, where she says the system is not broken. The system is working exactly as intended. The system is working exactly like they set it up. The system is there to protect predators. The system is there to protect terrible people. It's just that before now, we didn't have a president brazen enough to do it. Donald Trump is breaking the emollients clause, breaking it every day. Donald Trump trades stocks. He traded more than 3,500 stocks last year. Do you know how many stocks Barack Obama traded? 0. Do you know how many stocks George H.W. Bush traded? 0. Do you know how many stocks Joe Biden traded? 0. Every president in my entire life has traded no stocks at all. And Donald Trump has broken that by more than 3,500 trades. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. Again, this person keeps claiming that it's some Democrat thing, that the files are full of Democrats. Then why wouldn't Trump release them? I break your argument down with one question. Why doesn't Trump release them then? Release them. You think I care? I don't like is fake at all. Someone just asked me my thoughts on Zionism and is fake, and I don't like is fake. Is fake was land that was stolen by a bunch of people from Eastern Europe, and then now they act like they belong there because their magic book told them so. You guys, I don't want to listen to your stupid magic book. I don't care about your magic book. I don't care about anyone's magic book. You guys don't care about my magic book, and you shouldn't, okay? I literally don't care. Alex says their brains are effed. Yeah, they are. They are. Where did I get the hat? ChelseaGods.com. That's right. You can join the Cult of Gods. Get your very official Deport Melania hat. I am Chelsea Gods, the founder of the International Deport Melania campaign. Get that bee out of here. Get her out of here. Send Jeffrey Epstein's girl right back where she came from. You can get your very own Deport Melania hat over on my website, ChelseaGods.com. All of the sales from all of my merch is what funds me traveling all over the country. So thank you guys so much for your continued support. I really appreciate it. Again, Jacob, I don't care about Jesus. Did he take care of my lawn or something? He says Jesus cares about me. Is he making me dinner? I don't know. Let me know. Let me know in the comments. Yeah, I'm going to continue speaking out, Lone Star. I'm going to continue speaking out. You can't even stop me. Someone has to be on the right side of history. My hat makes no sense. She lied. She lied on her visa. She lied on her visa. She lied on her visa application. She worked illegally in the United States of America. You guys are putting people in concentration camps for a lot less than that. So I think my hat makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. Hey, Thumb, nice to see you. Thumb, super nice to see you. I love it. um, I just don't care about undocumented immigrants. I need to say that one more time. I would rather live next to 10,000 undocumented immigrants than a single MAGA. I've never once cared about the taco cart lady down the street and thought that that was a problem. I just genuinely don't care. It does not negatively affect my life in any way, shape, or form. I do believe that it would be cheaper for us to give welfare to every single one of those immigrants than what we're spending right now. By the way, just so you guys know, we're spending more on immigrants now than ever before. If you want to know like why I don't agree with it, we spend more now than ever. We spend more now than ever. We're spending more money now than we ever have on immigrants than ever. And you're going to sit there and pretend that they're draining our economy. It's actually Donald Trump who's draining our economy, and CoreCivic and Geo Group and ICE agents. Those people are draining our economy. They are literally taking our taxes and making us like poor for forever. We spent more money than ever last month. And you guys are like, well, what about the immigrants? They're costing us so much money. Yeah, they are now. They are now. They are now. They're costing us more money now. So should we have no laws? I mean, we should make immigration easier. We should make it easier for the people who are here. They own a house, they're working here, they're productive. We should make it easier. Like, you want to talk about no laws? You guys voted for a felon. Don't talk to me about how much you care about law and order. You freaking don't. You know? They freaking don't. That's right. Undocumented immigrants don't get benefits because they're undocumented, but they pay taxes. That's true. That's true. They add to the economy. Thank you so much for the gift, Courtney. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So nice. They do. They add to the economy massively. Somehow like $900 billion. Or maybe it's like $90 billion. I'm going to go with 90. I'd have to look it up. Yeah, the money is going to private prison companies. Exactly. That's where your taxes went last year. It didn't go to you. By the way, you guys could have had health insurance. Every person in the country could have had health insurance for what we spent last year. Every person in the country could have had health insurance, and you got nothing. You got nothing. You got higher gases. You got higher groceries. You got fewer jobs. You're being paid less at your job than you were 20 years ago. You're working more than you ever have. Your housing is more expensive. Everything is like unaffordable. And you guys are sitting in here worried about immigrants as if that has anything to do with you. It freaking doesn't. That taco cart guy, that's not even the issue. It's not even the issue. You're not even paying attention to what the real issues are. And they're using that as a way of like keeping you that way. In fact, I started re-listening to Howard Zinn's A People's History of the United States of America. And one of the most interesting things that I found out, well, the reason why I'm re-listening to it is because I knew that there was a lesson in history that I needed to learn and pay attention to, and I wasn't paying attention to it. And I'm listening to what life was like for the colonizers, for the colonies when people came here. And it turns out that there were a lot of people who were really unhappy with what was happening in the United States prior to the revolution. I'm talking like at this point, it's something like 20 years before 1776. So we're talking like 1750s or so, 1750s, 1760s. And there's a lot of socioeconomic disparity where there's a small number of rich people who are controlling all of the poor people. And the rich people got it in their mind that the best way to control all of the poor people was to start breaking them into different classes. And if they broke them into different classes, then they would fight amongst themselves instead of band together and fight the rich people who were controlling them and try and take their land or make things more equitable or even. And that's exactly what the rich people did, is they split up the poor people into groups so that they couldn't be concentrated and be successful in rebelling and making their lives better. And that's what's happened here in the United States, is that they've told you the problem is immigrants. They've told you the problem is immigrants, and they're using your stupidity and your racism as a wedge issue, as a way of controlling you. And they don't want you to see who the real person behind the curtain is, who's really causing the problems that you're actually experiencing in your everyday life. Now, have any of you who are so concerned about immigrants actually had something happen to you where immigrants are a real problem? I know the answer is no. It's never happened to you that an immigrant has directly affected you. It's just this idea of immigrants is a huge problem for you. And then that idea of immigrants being a huge problem for you is an issue that's been used to make it so that you're not paying attention to the fact that you can't afford your groceries because of billionaires. You don't have housing because billionaires have purchased of all your housing. It's harder for you to afford your utilities because your utilities are owned and purchased by billionaires, and your groceries are more expensive because of billionaires raising their prices. Your consumer goods are more expensive because of billionaires raising their prices, and you don't have any jobs because billionaires are cutting all of the jobs, and you won't have any clean air because they're going to take all your air, and they're using your racism and your stupidity against you. So, There you go. Immigrants have not affected your life in any way, shape, or form. They made it so that you could have had healthcare last year, but you don't have healthcare. You don't have anything good going for you. And there's no policies of the Trump administration that are actually making your life better. You just feel better because you get to be racist publicly. And I don't know how that's any good. Oh my God, look at how cute that is. Oh, that's so cute. Oh my God, so cute. Where can you get the hat? You can head on over to my website, link in bio, chelseagods.com. Get your very own Deport Melania hat. Thank you guys for all of your support. If you want to donate to me or you want to buy any of my merch, you can head on over to my website, chelseagods.com, or you can send me Cash App or Venmo. My Cash App and Venmo is Chelsea Gods, but by all means, but you don't have to do anything. I do not get paid by any of my social media platforms. I only get paid. The only way I make money is through a grassroots campaign from small dollar donations from people like you. I want you guys to know that I love and appreciate every single person who's joined me along this journey. The whole way. And I literally, yeah, I'm a product of migration. Yeah, absolutely. That's why I believe in migration. Yeah, absolutely. Courtney, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So why do I keep saying immigrants but not illegal? Because I won't try and dehumanize human beings. Just like I wouldn't say Das Juden. Just like I wouldn't be like, Das Juden, Das Juden. Oh, by the way, we've seen this play before. Where a group of people blame a minority on their issues when that's not even what's causing their issues. We know exactly how it ends. It repeats itself time and time throughout history. We know exactly how it ends every single time. The answer is badly for everyone. And I literally don't care whether they're undocumented or not. It doesn't affect me. It does not negatively affect me. Hardworking families in this country does not negatively affect me. It doesn't negatively affect you either. You just, hate people. They say undocumented, but use their documents to find them. Correct. And there are lots of people who are here legally who've been locked up. And you guys should know this is all a money-making operation. It's all a money-making operation. Hey, I'm Fresh. Nice to see you again. It's all a money-making operation. Lots of the people who they're locking up, they keep locked up for months at a time. I know someone who was locked up for 8 months and then they released him. Why did they keep somebody locked up for 8 months? Well, the answer to that is because Core Civic was making $160 a day off of them being locked up. Like, that's the answer, because it's all a money-making scheme. It's not about keeping you safer. It's not about legal versus legal versus illegal immigration. They're letting people go after making them serve time for like 12 months. Like, they're letting people go after being there for 4 and 5 months at a time. And they're doing it not because those people were a problem to be released into the general public. They were never a problem. They were never a problem before either. It's because they're making money off of it. It's never about undocumented, never about legal immigration. It was never about that. This is a money grab of your taxpayer dollars. And instead of using your taxes to make your life better for you, your friends, your family, fix your roads, have better infrastructure, invest in things like high-speed rail, invest in the future of the United States of America, instead they're giving your money to billion-dollar corporations who are locking people up, torturing them, abusing them, giving them disgusting, dirty water, making them wear dirty clothes, denying them medical care, literally punching and killing them. Like, so many atrocities, so many terrible things going on in these concentration camps. And it's not because those people belong there, and you wouldn't even know if they belong there, because they're not allowing them to have court trials. They're not putting them in front of a judge, right? These people are then getting released because it wasn't even a problem, we have no lawyers who actually care about these human beings. That's just not true. There's lots of lawyers who care about these human beings. It's just that there's so many cases and they're not seeing them. They're not giving them due process. They're not giving them the opportunity to, be involved in the legal system even. In fact, I know someone who got released because she filed a habeas corpus petition. And as soon as she got saw in front of a judge, she was released and she's now free. Why was she locked up? What was the benefit of locking it up? There was no benefit. The only benefit is that some billionaires are going to be making money on it. So all you MAGA morons, you've been tricked. You've been tricked into buying into a system that's actually bad for you. You know what you deserved instead? You deserved healthcare. You know what you deserved instead? You deserved having more for your dollar. Like, you deserve to have paid maternity and paternity leave. You deserve to have paid sick leave. You deserve to have paid vacation. And you could have all these things if you weren't so racist. If you weren't such dumb racists who are easy to control through your racism, then you could have things that would actually make your life better. Now, how would you feel if you would have been able to go on vacation last year and still had kept your job and had paid vacation? And it was like guaranteed through your government. Better. You would have felt better. If you had paid sick leave and it was guaranteed through your government, your life would be better. But you guys don't want to do things that make your life better. You want to do things that make other people's life worse, because if their life is worse, then you feel better about your shitty life. Well, I don't want your life to be so shitty anymore. I don't want 67% of Americans living paycheck to paycheck. I don't want 60% of Americans to not be able to afford an average lifestyle. I want everyone's life to be better. Everyone is struggling. I love this. You guys keep equating that all immigrants are rapists and murderers, and you voted for a rapist. You don't care about women being raped. I'm not going to listen to you pretend that that's something you care about. You don't. Because a legal citizen of this country, Donald Trump, raped E. Jean Carroll, and you don't fucking care about it. You don't care about it. I won't listen to you guys pretend you care about it. You want to paint all immigrants as being monsters. Well, then should I paint all white men as being monsters because Donald Trump is a monster? Is that what you want me to do? Like, these stereotypes never hold up because it doesn't exist, because it doesn't reflect reality. It doesn't reflect reality. You know, and he exploited children. Yes, exactly right. Chelsea for president. Okay, guys, I'm going to log off. I'm going to go get my kids ready for bed and everything. And that's right, Chelsea for president in 2028. If you want to get your very own Deport Melania hat, you want to get any of my shirts on my merch, I have Deport Melania shirts. I have unisex shirts and women's shirts and all different kinds of things over on my website, chelseagods.com. Please, thank you guys for your support. Thank you for being here in the live today. Had so much fun being on the live here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And of course, over here on TikTok. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to be back. You can't even stop me from being back. And until then, Chelsea for president. In God's we trust. See you guys. Trump cannot be president in 2028 according to the Constitution of the United States. And I love America and believe in the Constitution. And